Okay, next up is basic rotation. And this will be the end of what I'm talking about right now. So my grip is all in place. And here's how the basic rotation works. When I need to play with just one mallet, we need to move in the most efficient way possible. So what I will do there, when I want to play with the inside mallet, my hand is going to rotate, which is different than anything we've done. It's going to rotate around the pivot point of where this outer mallet is. Then I can move my hand freely. Now, there's a couple things to pay attention to when you are doing this. One is, don't have the mallets up in the air when you're doing this. Okay, well, why? Here's why. Just like drumming, there's a whole range of motion you have in your hand. Down here and up there. But really, the only part we really utilize is from the neutral position into the positive position. If this is positive and this is negative. We're really only using positive motion. The negative motion happens sort of sympathetically through the bars and stuff. So we're not going to really, we don't want to play in the negative zone, if you will, down in here. So the same thing goes for playing with a rotation stroke. The mallets are going to stay in a lower level. The non-playing mallet, and your wrist position is going to be in that same dress position that we talked about in the beginning. So it doesn't happen from up here, because then like I said, we're going into this negative zone, and there's also other reasons not to do that as well. So when you're rotating, don't practice it up here. Actually, practice it a little bit more down here, in more of the dress position with your mallet, just a little bit off the keyboard, or whatever surface you're practicing on. It doesn't have to be on a keyboard at all. But then you can practice your basic rotation and get your hand used to finding where the access is around that other mallet, because it's really different depending on which mallet you're playing with. The way your hand needs to work is really different. So I want you to see something here from this angle. I want you to notice that my forearm is in a line that comes between the two mallets. This is really important when you're developing your rotational stroke. And I don't need to go into it, just believe me. That needs to be like that. Notice the forearm is still here. And then when I'm rotating with the outer mallet, same concept. My wrist, notice my arm didn't move at all, whether I was doing this one or that one. My arm doesn't move. Notice it does rotate. It does rotate a little bit. You see that motion. You can see my wrist moving from one to the other. You see that. There to there. There to there. But it doesn't move side to side, and that's really important. Because it's really easy. It feels comfortable to do that sometimes, but it's not right. So just work on that and get your hands comfortable, and get your wrist position comfortable with knowing how to rotate around each mallet. And you can do it slow, and then you can start doing it a little faster to feel, again, just to get your hand comfortable with where it is. Remember the other thing I talked about negative area. You don't want to go into the negative area, and it's way more common than I think you would think. It's really common, actually. So don't do that. Make sure that when you're practicing, either get yourself set up so that you don't go into the negative, or just make sure you don't by watching. But you got to kind of keep an eye on it yourself. Because what happens a lot of times is the hand position will come up, and then we start coming down into the negative. You can see this funky angle here is just, it doesn't end up looking good or being excellent in any way. Always in the positive, okay? So the mallets need to maintain this angle. They shouldn't come down, or even be, like I said, down into this negative area. That's how it works. That's how it should do it, okay? So just get your rotation happening around each mallet. Remember to if you keep going back to that first position where your arm is relaxed, and you're in a handshake position, and if you're here, right where you started, you're probably right. It's when things start getting out into other zones that, you start doing weird stuff. So that's how it works. Thank you.